Okay, I can see you, Thompson, Oyeyemi, Magnanimous. Oh, sorry, just hang on 1 second. Okay, so is the audio better now? All right, so Mr. Kunle, you're welcome. Precious, Jolly, Agawa, Babatunde, Jimo, Oni, Wade, Namdi, and on Facebook we have a whole lot of, sorry, on YouTube we have a whole lot of persons. You're welcome to this class, right? For those of you who were fortunate to join this Zoom class, congratulations, you have a front row seat. Unfortunately, we had a bit of issues with the YouTube stream, so we had to stream from a different location, but it's fine. We're able to resolve that, even though not exactly as planned, and everything is moving on smoothly right now. So without wasting so much time, the reason why we are here today is that we are reviewing, oh, by the way, first of all, those of you on Zoom, can you hear me well? Okay, yes, I can, yes, I can. Okay, fine. Very good. So which means our audio is working very well. Now, so the reason why we are here is very simple. We would need to, we are trying to bring, to teach you a little bit of Excel. Now, employers have been laying people off these past few days, and these past few weeks rather, post-COVID-19. And you know, most of what they would look at as criteria for laying people off is their perceived value to the company. Now, if you are somebody who gets things done, you know, very well and very effectively, the possibility of you being laid off is a little bit more reduced than someone who the company feels that they can do without for now. So this is an attempt to try and skill up very fast, right? I've had many people talk about the need for them to learn Microsoft Excel. And Excel is actually very simple. It's very, very simple. It just needs a little bit of paying attention to some very small things, right? All right, so without so much protocol, let us jump into the presentation. I hope you guys can see my screen. I'm sharing my screen now, just 1 second. All right, so can you guys see my screen? So let's dive in. My name is Mr. Nweke. I'm a director at Prime Royal Hospitality Limited. And I just felt I should just do this Excel training to help everybody, you know, that may be having challenges in their workplace. Now, the objective of this training is not for you to get a certificate. The objective is that when you go to work on Monday, there will be a noticeable difference between how you presented things before now and how you presented things after now, especially with emphasis to your reports. Now, many companies have plenty of reports to present on a monthly, sometimes weekly in some cases, monthly and then quarterly basis. And so I felt we should do this class so we can learn a thing or two. Now, real quick, our agenda today is going to be, we are going to do introduction, which we've been doing since. Everybody has been introducing himself here and there. And we would look at dynamic tables in Excel without wasting too much time. Let me not start the class already before I run through this agenda. Then after that, we'll look at pivot tables. And then after pivot tables, we'll look at creating a dashboard. Now, And then after creating a dashboard, we would look at a little bit about styling and presentation of the dashboard that we have created. Now, there's no generic way to create a dashboard, right? Or there's no generic way to present a dashboard, but it all depends on what your organization requires. If your organization needs or requires tables to be presented, reports to be presented in a particular way, or some specific kinds of information on a weekly, monthly, or quarterly basis, then those information is what you should show in your dashboard, right? Now, we'll take questions. I like questions a lot. Questions give me feedback on how well we are doing and whether we should go faster, go slower, pause, slow down, or whatever. And I was very, very small, simple homework. Don't worry, don't be afraid. It's not a serious homework. It's just a little bit of practice. But with this, at the end of this homework and practice period, the plan is that you should have learned dashboards very well. You should have learned Excel very well, especially creating dashboards. And you will be ready to now apply it in your organization where you work. And of course, they're going to see what the noticeable difference is. So, a little bit of house rules. Please mute all mics, even though the mics have been muted from here, but sometimes technology can fail us. But just in case your mic is not mute, please leave it on mute until maybe we give that space for a little bit of questions and answers, questioning, then we can now unmute the mics. I would like to borrow a little bit of your time. This period, try to avoid distractions because again, the objective is for us not to go all over the place. When we stay focused and finish this class in just 1.5 hours and a maximum of 2 hours, if we're going to accommodate questions, we should have skilled up in the business of dashboard designs on Excel. Of course, the plan is to have the class to last for just 1.5 hours, and please, please, please ask questions. Now, we may not be able to take all the questions at once, so I think the best thing for us to do is very simple. We'll do one sprint, then pause a little bit and take questions on what we've talked about in that sprint, and then we'll go for another lap, we'll take questions again, go for another lap. Now, I suggest that you don't bother trying to practice the Excel as the class is going on because you will obviously be distracted. And once you are distracted, it may be difficult to come back, get back to things. So my suggestion is that everybody should just pay very close attention, bring out your notebook and your biro and make some brief notes where you want to make those brief notes. And at the end of the entire presentation, I'll send you a recorded version of this. I'll send you a recorded version of this. Oh, by the way, my apologies. I'll send you a recorded version of this class, and you can now replay it over and over as many times as you want while practicing. Then after that practice, we would now, you can now attempt the homework and the assignments. Okay, so are we good so far? Of course, I also take feedbacks and testimonials just to see how we are doing. Again, the plan is if we're going to have subsequent trainings like this, I'd like to know which areas you are having difficulties in. And I also like to know what topics you'd like to see going forward, right? All right. So, is everybody set? All right, so can we go on? All right, thank you very much. I can see your reply. So ladies and gentlemen, let's dive in and let's learn Microsoft Excel. I always wanted to do that. All right. So do we have any issues so far? Any issues, any suggestions you would like to make at this point? Zoom participants, Facebook, YouTube stream. All right. So just give me a second and we'll be back. And I'll be back. Okay, so this is what we are going to try and design today. Right? I hope you guys can see my screen. This is what we are going to try to design today. Oh, I think there's a more updated version to this. Okay, but it's fine. Now, this is a very, 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 very simple dashboard. Now, in this dashboard, you can see a couple of pieces of information has been represented graphically from our source data. Now, the first thing you can see here is the title, the dummy company. This is okay, so this was done for Orange Drugs with totally dummy figures. So if you work in Orange Drugs, nothing on this dashboard that represents your company. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. There's nothing on this report that represents your company. So the date that this was generated was performance report as at 20th May 2020. Again, this is just a sample. And there's been 30 transactions during the period under review. And 5 customers, these are the 5 top customers. We have Ada, Ibrahim, Oke, Biola, and Musa, right? On one report. On another report, we have top 5 selling products, right? So you can see from this top 5 selling products, you can see that we have Delta Plus, Sudrex, Passion Energy Drink, Procode, and Delta Herbal. Now, if this was an actual company report, right? One of the things the company would be considering in this report is that Delta Plus is selling way more than Delta Herbal, right? Now, there are many reasons for it, right? Which cannot be immediately decided here. It could be that maybe Delta Plus has been in the market for longer. It could be that Delta Herbal is just a new product in its introductory stage. But whatever the situation, the reports like this would help to tell the story of the individual products and brands, you get, and it will assist the company in making executive decisions, right? Now, here we have sales quantity by city. This is Lagos, Anambra. You can see everything is just arranged by the number of the cities in which the products are sold. So Lagos has 321 SKUs, cartons of products sold, and Borno has the very least, which is about 40, right? Now, here we also have the least performing states. We have with Niger having 39, Borno having 40. So at a glance, if you see this report, you know what is going on across the country and across the region. Now, this report is sales by category. So there are 3 categories represented in this report. There's beverage, OTC, which is over-the-counter drugs, and then there's personal care. So again, at a glance, you can see your more profitable products. You can see here, the personal care seems to be taking a large portion of the revenue generation for the organization, followed by I think it's OTC. Yes, the OTC, which has the next largest share, but has a very small very small contribution to the company. And among other things, this is because that the initial source data has only one beverage, while the personal care and the OTC has many more beverage, many more products. So again, here you can see a sales by region. Northeast and Southeast have the highest, generates the highest revenue so far, while North Central is the lowest, and South, Northwest, and Southwest are just struggling. So you can see that Southeast easily has like over 5 times what the North Central is generating. Now, with this kind of report again, I just want one glance, the company executives know what is going on. And here again, we also have a report by sales rep, with Ijoma having the highest and Nweke having the lowest. Now, again, these are reports that you can use to make executive decisions. If other things are constant and it's easy to move someone, or easy to move the sales rep around, what I was in this organization, I'll take this highest sales rep, Ijoma, and move her to right. Then the South is occupied by 681, is occupied by Dayo. I'll move this Dayo guy to the Northeast, just interchange them, because it seems Ijoma and Abu are the high flyers. They are in regions where things are happening. They are really making a whole lot of sales. So I'll move them to the least performing regions, give them a whole lot of incentives so that they will work that same magic. They will do that same magic that they did to get this kind of figures. Okay, so are we good so far? All right, so now let us create a dashboard that looks something very, very similar to this. Okay, so a few questions. Someone said, I'd like to know the major difference between intermediate and advanced Microsoft Excel. We'll probably get to that. I suggest both after the lecture, both materials and audio will be sent to us. You get them as well in your next email. And somebody is asking, Emmanuel is asking steps on to the simple dashboard environment. So now this is what I just showed you was a report that has already been converted to PDF, right? It was already converted it was done in Excel and converted to PDF. What we're about to do now is that we're about to create that report from the very scratch, from the very beginning, and you are going to see how it goes. Okay, so because we are watching time seriously, let us open Microsoft Excel real quick. All right, so this is my Microsoft Excel environment. I guess we all know how to get here. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is that we to recreate that entire report from the very beginning to the very end. So just give me 1 minute. Let me just open a file. All right. Sorry, just give me a second. Okay. So the first thing we are going to do is we are going to get our source data, right? Now, our source data comes from different places. It can come from, your organization can have an application or a software where you already have sales information entered, right? Or you can extract sales information with and extract them to CSV, or you can extract them to Excel formats. Now, if you have that raw data that can give you sales information directly, then half of the job is already. But if everything is still just paper invoices and all that, you'd have to find a way to enter all those paper invoices into an Excel sheet, right? Now, many softwares like Tally, I think QuickBooks does that. Sage does that. Sage does exporting. In fact, almost any application, any sales application that you have would give you the opportunity to enter data or export data in Excel formats, right? Especially where you have a large data source. So let's just use a dummy data. Let's just make up some data. Let's say we have serial number. We have order dates, customer name, state, country, sales person, region, product name, category, unit price, quantity sold, and revenue. Now, if we have these pieces of information, right, then maybe we may have serial number can be one, order date can be, let me just change this first to the entire row to short date formats. So order date can be 1st of January. First of January 2020. Customer name can be Ada. State can be Abia. Country, Nigeria. Salesperson can be Abu. Region can be South, Southeast. Product name can be Pro, Cold. Category can be an OTC. Unit price can be 1,352. Quantity sold can be 23. Now, revenue, revenue or the amount is just equal to quantity multiplied by unit price. So we'll just simply do is equal to, click on this cell, star, click on this cell, right? And that gives us the figure, right? It gives us the amount, right? What that was placed for. So here's what I will do. Let me make these two. Okay, let me leave it first. Right? Okay, so anybody want to make a comment or say something or ask a question? Let me just check briefly. Does anybody want to ask any questions? All right, magnanimous, no questions yet. Continue. Thank you very much. All right, so what I will do is I want to use data I have already prepared. Let me just copy the rest of the data that I've already prepared and just paste it so that we'll just move on from there, because you guys can't be on the line and I'll be typing all this stuff. I mean, doesn't make sense. Okay, I hope nobody's lost so far. Janet, please, the formula again. Okay, let me show you how it happened, right? Let me use here. We want to calculate revenue, and the revenue is quantity multiplied by unit price, right? So here's what we are going to do. We'll come to revenue, we'll click inside that place we want the answer to be, right? Then, sorry, just 1 second. So inside that place we want to be, inside that place we want the answer to show, we'll press equal to, right? So equal to, then we'll now click on the two numbers and separate it with a star. So it will now be quantity, click on the quantity we want to multiply, we'll press star on the keyboard, and then click on the unit price, right? Then if you press enter to now just show you the fund direct, right? I hope that covers your concern. All right, so, all right, you're welcome, Janet. All right, so let's continue. Now that we have this is where the fun begins, right? We have our dummy data. All of this data, right, assume probably came from maybe your sales application, or maybe you have some software in your office where you record all of the sales. Oh, by the way, this example is for a sales department. It's a little, it's not too different, but our case study now is sales department, right? Or a sales unit. If you are doing HR, you'll be using something similar. You'll be doing something similar as well, but it's just that you can compile your data manually, or you can compile your data as an export from your human resources information system software that your company uses. So if you do not have a HRS software in your application, you as the HR person can now have your own your own Excel sheet where you now record your things like your employee performance, your number of queries, and all of those things. So at the end of the day, you can now, your report can now be much more comprehensive, right? Before you do a presentation. So the first thing I want to do is that I want to create a table. Before you ask, right? The table we want to create, right? The entire Excel is a spreadsheet. We want to create a table that is flexible, right? So as we add more data to the table, right? The table just continues to recognize the extra data. The difference between just plotting this directly on a sheet, right, is that every time your data changes, you have to go back to your graph and now start making adjustments to the data and all that. Now, for example, this data on August, 13th August, right, 2020. Shouldn't even have made it so much. 13th August 2020, right? Now, if a transaction happens on the 14th of August 2020, right, then we'll now have the next one will be 115. So we'll have 8/14/2020. Then maybe the guest name, the name of the customer would be Musa, and let's say he stays in Kano, which is in Nigeria. His sales rep is Dayo, and it's in the North Central region, and he bought Sudrex, which is Sudrex is an OTC, and Sudrex cost is 4,424, and let's say he bought 100 pieces. That's by that. Now, when you now add a new entry like that, this table, the table we're about to create, will just automatically recognize that new entry and then plot, generate an entire, what's it called? Generate and update your current dashboard, right? Just regenerate everything and update your current dashboard. That's the reason why we want to create a table inside here. Now, how are we going to create a table? We're going to create it like this. right? You guys should pay attention because we're about to enter somewhere that is going to be very dicey and very tricky, and I'm expecting plenty of questions, right? There are two ways. Either we hold down the sign, the control, press T, right? Either we do control T to create a new table. You can see these dotted lines all over here, all over here. If you keep scrolling, it will now get to the end of you see that data sets. Either we do control T, right? Or we make sure the cursor is inside here. Of course, the cursor is inside here at all times. And then we do insert, we click on here, and then we click on table, right? As you click on table, again, the same thing happens. This dotted line shows you where it is recognizing. So, but if you don't see those dotted lines, just simply come here, click here, and define where the table is, right? Now, this part, you have, my table has headers. The reason why this is here is to account for this first row. First row is part of the data, right? Then don't leave this checked, remove this. But if this first row is not part of the data, is the header, just leave this, my table has headers, right? Hope there are no issues. So let's click on OK. We've defined our table. Now you can see what has happened. The entire table has changed to this fancy blue theme, which you have this these drop downs where you can select, you can do some filtering, right? Now, once you have this fancy stuff here, and if you come to the end, you see that it has this small corner. At this corner, you have a small arrow that shows you that this is where it recognized the end of the table, right? Chizaram David, I should come again. Okay, let me do it again. Now, please pay attention because it's going to get tricky. I come to make sure my mouse pointer is inside, my cursor inside the data set. Click on insert and click on table, right? For this, my data set, I'll leave my table has headers and I'll click on OK. Chizaram, does that work for you? Hope there's minimum confusion so far. Okay, so, okay, fine. Thank you very much. All right, so now let's jump. Now, there's something I would like to do at this point. Usually when I'm doing a dashboard, I like to name tabs according to what I want them to do, right? Oh, before we go far, before we leave this place, you can name your table here. You can see the name of the table here. So let's just change this to source data. All right. Now, I already have 3 sheets in Excel. Here's what I usually like to do personally. Name it sheet 2. I would name it, let's say, calculations. You understand soon, just relax. Then sheet 3, I will double click it twice and I'll call it dashboard. I'll bring my data to the very beginning and the rest can get lost however they want, right? Now, here's the reason for it. On this tab that I call dashboard, this is where I usually like to prepare all of my dashboards and all of my reports, right? So I'm going to bring all of the components of my board, lay them on, design, present, and everything will be fine. So whenever I want to print out any report, I will just come board, refresh it, it will pick out all my data, and then I'll maybe export to PDF or send to my boss or something. In calculations, in fact, I'll come to calculations now. So now that we have our table, our dynamic table, right? The next thing we need to do is that we need to take this information and summarize into pivot tables, plural, pivot tables. Now, here's how to do it. We go to insert. Well, of course, there are many ways to do it. right? But we can go to insert, or better still, and while the mouse pointer is inside here, inside this table we've created, I can click on design and I can click on summarize with pivot table, right? Okay, so now what I want to do now is that now you can see table source data, right? With no space. You can see it's already selecting source data as my table range, right? So it has selected source data, right? And if you check, you see these dotted lines all around my source data. Down here, and it went down to the end. See where the dotted line stops, right? The dotted line stops here. Now, I would go to existing worksheets, right? I will now come and click here. Now, by existing worksheet, I want to define where I want to place my pivot table. You get? So I'll come and click this small space here. And then I will now come and select calculations, my calculations tab. Then I will just select one small cell here where the table will show up. If I click OK, what table appears here? Okay. It's looking like this may take a whole lot longer than 1.5 hours. I can see, oh yeah, me. You said I should recap. Okay, Oyemi, do you want to ask a specific question? Okay. Who wants to speak? Let me see. All right, Oyemi. Let me enable your mic so that you can, maybe there's something I'm missing out. All right, Oyemi, go ahead. You have the floor.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Oyemi.
Thank you for the training, sir. Please, I just want you to recap from that point where you click on design, creating the pivot tables.
All right, no problem. From creating the pivot table, let me do that again. Just 1 second. Okay, so you are okay up to here, right? Up to here, you are fine. So now here's what will happen. If your mouse pointer is clicked outside here, you see you have home, insert, page layout, formula, data, review, and view, right? But just watch what happens. Watch this view now, right? The moment I click inside here, I'll get extra options here. Those extra options are only unique to this table. So just watch. I clicked and I now have design. So that this design applies only to this, our dynamic table that we've created, right? Okay, look at Simon. Simon, let me hear your concerns. All right, so Simon, you have the floor. Simon.
Hello?
Yes, Simon, we can hear you.
Okay. I came in a bit late to the webinar, and I wanted to know whether this webinar will be pre-recorded, maybe so that after this webinar, those of us that didn't come on time could go over it and really understand it.
Okay, thank you very much. We're actually recording right now. Let me just be sure. We're actually recording right now. So immediately after the webinar, we'll send you the link and you can, in fact, if you're on YouTube, if you scroll, well, I don't know that you see it, but there's a YouTube channel that we are streaming from. So the recording will be on that channel, right?
Okay.
So you can go back and review everything.
What's the name of the channel?
I'll just post you the link now. It's Prime Royal Ltd. I will send you the link in a few seconds. Just let me find it and steal it.
Okay. Can you see me?
It's dark.
All right.
I hope you're okay.
All right, I've seen the link. Thank you.
Okay, good. Right. Thank you very much. All right. So I hope we can move on. All right. So someone asked about the design. I think that was Oye and me also. Okay, so now the design, like we're talking about, right? Once you click inside here, called dynamic table, right? You can now come and click on design, right? Okay, I think I undid this. All right, so you can click on, now come and summarize with pivot table, right? Oh yeah, me, I hope you are following so far. Now, summarizing with pivot table will bring this dialog box where you will see the name of your table, source data, right? If this table name is not there, just simply come here, select this, and go and start from the very beginning of the table and drag it all the way across, down, until you get to the end. When you get to the end, you stop, right? But so you can see it's already named source data all. Now, I will now select existing worksheets, and then I will now go and choose the location by clicking this guy. So my location is calculations tab, and I click on somewhere at the top, let's just say A2, right? When I click on A2, I can now click on this guy and click on OK, and my pivot table shows up here at that location. All right, are we good? Hope no more questions. Okay, so that's the first part of the journey, creating the first pivot table, right? Master Emmanuel, you are confused. Where's the confusion now? Okay, let's bring up Master Emmanuel. Master
Hello, sir.
Yes,
Hello,
Master
sir.
Emmanuel. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Please just kindly explain the pivot environment, the table, how you got to this diagram stage, sir.
Which diagram?
I mean, this diagram that is just showing on my screen, how you got to this environment, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, but I'm trying to understand your question. Is it how we got to? Did you come early?
I a little bit late, sir.
Okay, that's why you're confused. Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
let me just briefly recap, but everybody's saying I should go forward, right? You will all get the videos, you will all get the materials, you will all get everything. So let me just try and recap, right? Very briefly. Right, Master Emmanuel, here's what happened, right? We assumed that all this whole data, we exported it from maybe the software your company uses to record sales, right? Now, in a case where you don't have an application like that, you can enter it manually, right? So this is our sample data. Everything you have here is our sample data, right? So what we simply did is that we clicked inside the sample data, clicked insert, and then what was the first thing we did? We clicked on table, right? By clicking on table, it's converted this whole data set to what you can see now, added all these funny designs, you know, and all that. So it now recognize here down as a dynamic table. You can see this is where it stops. Another value here, let's just try. Let me just show you. If I enter another value here, this blue and white stripe will come down. Let's just try it out. You can see the blue and white stripe has come down. This would be 116. And let's say this would be, okay, fine. You can see the blue and white stripe has come down. So it will now have a dynamic table here, right? So the next thing we did was that we came to this design and we clicked on summarize with pivot table, right? By clicking on summarize with pivot table, we now got this dialog box that asked us to define a location, right? And then we now came and selected here's our location, and we have our pivot table here, right? Emmanuel, again, we will go back to, you will get the recording of this. So we need to be a little bit time conscious so that we don't keep you here longer. All right. Now, so the is this. We're going to take this pivot table now, and we're going to use it to plot a graph, right? So what we are going to do is this. Okay, Yusuf, no problem. I won't take any questions again for now. Sorry, sir. So here's what we are going to do. I want to plot a graph with this my pivot table, right? Let's see. Just hold on 1 second. Let me see the first thing I want to plot. Okay, let's plot top 5 customers. Right. So the first thing I want to do is I want to plot top 5 customers, right? Now, in top 5 customers, right, you are going to need the customers. The parameters you will need is the customers and the quantity, the amount of how much money they have, how much products, the worth of the product they've bought, right? Now, this is where it gets a little bit dicey. On this part, on this right-hand side of my Excel sheet, I have all of these fields. Remember, we have serial number, order dates, customer name, and all of these things. All of these things, this pane showed up because I clicked on this pivot table. So if I click outside the pivot table, it vanishes. If I come back and click here, everything here shows up. And if you notice, everything you have here corresponds to the titles, the headers of what I have here. You can see serial number, order, dates, customer name, and all of that, right? So what we are going to do is this, right? We need to plot customer name and revenue. So we'll come and take cost, drag it into this row label. As we dump it here, you can see this, my pivot table has changed, right? Then we now do the same thing for revenue. Click on revenue and come and drag it into values. Now you can see the values have shown up here. Now, notice that what you have here as title is sum of revenue, right? Now, this sum of revenue is very simple. Ada sold has this figure, right? Has done this volume of transaction. It means that if you add up all of the transactions Ada has ever done from the beginning of this source data to the end, is equal to this. If you want, you can try it out. If you come and sort customer name, remove everything and leave only Ada, you will see all of Ada's transactions, see all her transactions from here. Ada has money down to here, right? And if you add up all of these figures, it's going to give you in this place, right? So it now does all those, this action now does all those summaries, you know, here. We can make some changes here. Instead of sum of revenue, you can come here and come and change it to some other thing. But we actually want sum of revenue. We can change it to count. Count is the total number of transactions that that each person has done, right? We can change it to average, to max, to product, whatever is what we want in our report. So let's leave it like that. Now, I want to make these figures a little bit finer, right? So I want to have, if I have 1,000, I want to have 1,000.00. So what I would do is I would select these guys. The reason why I want to do that is that it's going to affect what I will see in my report. So I will select this, and then I'll come and click this comma here. This comma will style it up a little bit. You can see 22 million, that 0.00. But I don't want this 0.00. So here to this other box, you can see decrease decimal. This guy is increased decimal, and this guy is decreased decimal. So I'll click here once, it has reduced it by 1. If I click here again, it will reduce it by 1. So all I have now is now whole numbers, right? Am I too fast? Adeleke said leave it at sum of revenue. Okay, fine. Oyeyemi said I'm not too fast. All right, good. So let's move on. Now, the next thing I would like to do now is that I want to use this small data and plot a small graph. That graph is what I'm going to show on my dashboard. So here's what I'm going to do. Again, I'll click anywhere inside this my pivot table. Sorry, let me just get rid of this. And then I'll come to design. Oh, sorry. Is it design? Aha. I'll come to options and I'll click on pivot charts. Right? So I can choose any style I want here, right? But let's just choose this first clustered column graph and let's click on OK. Now, you can see it has actually plotted the graph of what is going on here. Ada has the highest, Ade has the smallest. We can see everything is just showing all the figures and it's all scattered. So I want to clean this up a little bit, right? Cleaning it up is key, right, for my presentation. So what I want to do is I want to sort all these things from highest to smallest or smallest to highest, right? Now, you guys should pay attention because this is also another point of confusion, right? So in order for me to sort this my data, right now, it's actually sort automatically by default according to the alphabetical order of these rows. You can see Ada starts from A, Ade is next, Biola, Ibrahim. So it just sorted this guy alphabetically. So what I want to do now is I want to sort it by sum of revenue. So what I'll do now is click on this small arrow, right? And then I'll go to more sort options. Then I'll now do in decreasing order, Z to A by, then I'll select sum of revenue. Now I can select in ascending order, A to Z, right? It will just start from the smallest and sort to the largest. But I want the reverse. I want it from the biggest to the smallest. So I'll go to decreasing, I'll select decreasing order, which is Z to A, and then select sum of. So what will happen now if I click OK, it will sort this sum of revenue column in decreasing. That it will also affect this chart. So pay attention to this chart. It's about to happen. Okay. Are we good? Any confusion so far? All right. Okay, good. So now let's continue, right? Now, in the report that I wanted to show, I want to show only 5 people. You can see this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 persons. I only want the first 5 persons to show on my graph, right? On report, which is, so sorry, if you're raising your hand, I've been ordered not to take any more questions. So let's just run through this, pause somewhere, and then we'll now take some questions, okay? So I want the first 5 persons and throw the rest away, right? Now, your organization they may decide to give incentives to the first top 5 highest customers, right? Like imagine MTA that they would reward the top 5, highest spenders, that kind of thing. So now, in order for me to get the first top 5, what I'll simply do, I'll go back to that small arrow, right? Now, instead of me clicking these more sort options, like I did the first time, I will now come to value filter, right? And then I will now go all the way down to top 10. Now, when I get to this top 10, I can do, now it brings out a small dialog box. I can actually come and say bottom 10, right? Or I can say top 10. So let's leave it at top 10, but instead of top 10, let's do top 5, right? Now I'm doing top 5 items, and it is by sum of revenue. So what this other means, dialog, what I've just said here is, I want to show the top 5 items by sum of revenue. You can see sum of revenue here, right? So I just want to take the first 5 and throw the rest away. I'm not interested. So if I click OK, watch this graph, watch what will happen. Only 5 persons will remain here when I click OK. Voila. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we have our 5. Adeleke, your network is bad. Oh, Adeke. I can't pronounce the other name. Tengu Adeke. Okay. Let me just recap that sorting again. Let me just, So this was what you saw last, right? So I'm going to rush it. So just pay very close attention, right? Adeke, pay very close attention. Now, for me to arrange all of these in descending order from biggest to smallest, I came to row label, this small arrow, came to more sort option. Forget about these two. If you do A to Z or Z to A, it will arrange these guys. But that's not what we want. We want to arrange these guys. So more sort options, descending order, Z to A by sum of revenue. You see that? And then I click on OK, and everything is sorted. Right? Now, second sorting we did was that I clicked on this again, came back to value filter, selected top 10, and then changed this top 10 to top 5. And just to be sure, top 5 items by sum of revenue, right? And then we clicked on OK, and it took only 5 and threw away the rest. Adeke, I hope you are good so far. All right, so let's move on. Now, let's do a little bit of, let's make it fine a little bit, make this our graph fine a little bit. So the first thing I'll do, I want to get rid of this total, I don't need it. Click on total and press delete. Total is gone. Change this to 5, what's this? Customers, right? Top 5 customers. I want to make this my bar fatter. So I'll click on it, right click, and format data points. Yes, okay. So in this format data points, I would now watch what happens when I reduce this width gap. As I reduce this width gap, the thickness of this, the width of this, my bars continue to increase and increase and increase. So we have this being a very high figure. We have this being a very small figure, right? Oh, sorry, very small width, right? So I'll just increase it until I am comfortable with the size and I'm okay with it. So let's just give it a steady figure of 50, right? Hope we are good. Yakini, don't worry, you will get the video. All right, so now I have my first report, right? Now let me tweak this report a little bit. I don't like these lines in the center. Let me remove it. So I just clicked on the lines and pressed delete, and those lines vanished, right? Now, what I will now do, watch what I'll do. I'll use this very small, right? Click, copy, push it to one corner because I'm done with it. come to my dashboard, right click and paste. And I now have my chart here, right? I hope we are following, no issues. All right, so let's move on. Now, let me reduce this a little bit. Let me reduce this to 14 and remove the bold. Right, so now we've done one part. We've done one part of the reports we want, right? Now, we need to go back and go and get other reports and populate this page so that we would now have all the reports that we are looking for. Back to source data. Now, when we get here, we'll do the same thing again. We'll come to design, we'll summarize again with pivot table. We'll do the same thing, existing worksheets, select calculations, and then maybe we'll now come and put the second figure, the second data, let's say like here, the second table. Now, we want to do another table. With this, we want to do another table, right? And let me see, what are we going to do? This time around, let's do top 5 products. Now, again, top five products is, we would need products. Let's see, we will need product name. Aha, so like we did before, we need product name. We'll take product name and drag into row label. We'll also need revenue. We'll take revenue and drag into values, right? Again, like we did the first time, let's add some effigy here. Select all of this, come to home, click on the comma, reduce the decimal places. And then again, we want to sort this. Okay, let's plot the graph first. Come to options, then pivot chart. This time around, let's use a different design of graph so that everything will not just be unique. Let's use this guy, this bar chart, this clustered bar chart. And voila, you can see our data beautifully represented here. Now, once again, let us rearrange. Okay, Excel MasterClass for Business said, please, why is the grand total not formatted like the other figures? You know, we did not format it like that. We can actually format it like that, right? I just noticed it. But we don't really need grand total in our report. That's why I left it like that. But you can format it if you want. Click on this guy and reduce the 2. The same thing with this. Click on this and reduce the 2, right? So, like we did before, this is what, top 5. We want to do top 5 products, right? And a little styling here, change this to font size 14, remove the bold. Then like we did before, I hope you guys still remember what we did before, right? Sort all this in descending order from biggest to smallest. We'll come here, more sort options, descending order, sort by sum of revenue. Click on OK. Oh, no. Let's do the reverse. Ascending order, sort by sum of revenue. Aha. So we have the highest first, and then it just goes down, right? So the next thing we want to do is, what did we do? What did we do again? Okay, top 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Incidentally, they are already 5, but okay. Let's go back and add just any arbitrary value here. Let's add some values here, 117 and 118. So we can call this, what are we trying to do? Okay, 5 products. So let's call this, what other products does Delta Soup have? Does Orange Rug sell? Let's call this energy drink. So we'll make our product 6. Energy drinks, a beverage, and let's leave the prices like that. And add up the total. Oops. This is equal to that times that. Stick. It's equal to that multiplied by that. And this is equal to that multiplied by that. Okay. So now, okay, so you know we just added two other extra entries, right? So here's what's going to happen. Chizaram, shit, I would have done three, but it's fine. Here's what was going to happen. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 products here. We just added a 6th one, right? It's not showing up yet. So here's how to make it show. We'll come to options and we'll click on refresh and click on refresh all, right? So refreshing all will just refresh the entire connection between the pivot tables and the source data, right? You can refresh the tables one by one by clicking this, but to me, it's a waste of time. So let's just refresh all. And as we refresh all, you can see energy drink has shown up. And it has actually updated this. I don't know by how much. Okay, Biola's figure has just increased a little bit, right? Now, Biola and James, if we go back and make some changes, okay, see Biola, let's give Biola some extra, let's give her some serious extra figures. Let's say she sold 300 cartons and the prices are the same thing. Now, now we can even do the refreshing from here, right? Now watch what happens. Biola has almost caught up with James, right? If we select on this chart, then we come to design. Is it design or layout? We'll come to, yes, we'll come to analyze, see this refresh here as well, right? Once we click on refresh, because we just added giving Biola a boost, I'm expecting Biola to jump, before James. So let's see that. Oh, okay. So this is Biola and James is now the smallest, right? In this pack. So that has refreshed our data, right? Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's do let's say 3 products according to Chizaram. Chizaram said let's do top 3 products. Now, what are we going to do? Come here, value filter, this time around we are going to do top 3. Top 3 items by sum of revenue. Click on OK and voila. Right? Now, let's format the data series and some small changes here. Reduce this width gap to like 50. Okay. Yeah, so now it's final, right? Okay, so again, like before, let's get rid of these grid lines. I don't know whether we should get rid of this money yet. Okay, let's get rid of this axis because it's a little bit much. Then we reduce this. Oh, sorry, there's still total here we need to get rid of. This top 3 looks funny. Let's leave it at top 5. Let's leave it at top 5. Let's leave it at top 5. So now we reduce it, copy it. Now we can take this guy and push it far away. We are done with it. And then come and paste it in the dashboard. Resize it to how we like. Oh. And voila. So our dashboard is coming along nicely, right? All right, so let's hurry up a little bit because we're about to, this is already 10 minutes past 9. So, and the objective is to finish the talk by 9:30 so that if we have questions, we can easily take the questions. Fair, right? Any challenges, any issues? Hope no objections. All right, so let's go back to our source. Okay, let's start the styling already, right? Now here's what I'm going to do. I'll take this and drag this and hold down alternate. So if you hold down alternate, it snaps to the grid lines, right? It's very helpful if you want a specific place. So let's leave this there. Take this, snap this to the grid line. Bring this up here. Bring this guy just a little so close. Increase that a little bit. So the next thing I want to do is I want to use here let me see. Just give me a second. So I want to plot sales quantity by city. Let's do sales quantity by city, right? And let us put it inside here. So we're going to need one to reduce this guy small. So, but for sales quantity by city, I want to do something different. I'll do something different. Let me just merge and then I'll now do sales quantity by city. Okay, so I want to put this, I want to create a small table here and list out all the cities. Let me just see if I would do outside border. Okay, good. Now, so quickly, let's go and grab another pivot table. So click here, insert pivot table. This is also another way. Click here and insert pivot table directly. Again, we'll select our location, calculation, and let's put it here. Now, what was that report again? So I want sales quantity by city, right? Sales quantity by city will now be, I will take states as my first parameter, and then I will now take quantity as my values, right? So it's actually by states. Ike, can we get percentage of the values? Yes, of course, you can get percentage of the values. We'll just change it here from summary of quantity. I think one of our reports is supposed to be a percentage. One of our reports is supposed to be a percentage, but we'll get to that. All right, so we've constructed another table, right? This is states, and this is the quantity. This is the quantity that is sold. Now we can do quantity here, or we can do revenue, right? So this is just number of cartons of all of the products. It's not really a very good measure because all the cartons are different. The carton for Pro Code cost different from the carton for Sudrex and end products. So we're just making a rough estimate and assumptions. You know, sometimes depending on the report you are looking at, some of the reports would want to measure number of cartons, right? And some other reports may want to measure the amount that was sold. Because if one product is taking everything, is a fast-selling product, then we need to know whether how other products are doing. So let's just, for the sake of this demonstration, use some of quantities. Again, we'll do our sorts like we did before. I'm going to be a little faster this time around because I've already done 2 examples. So follow very closely because I'm going to do a lot of clicking and it's going to be very fast. So row label, more sort options, sort by, let me say descending order, and I want quantity. All right, so the highest is on top, the lowest is down. I want to format this, make it fine. Click on the comma. reduce these decimal places. What else do I want to do? No, this time around, I don't want top 5 or top 10. Okay, no, maybe we might do that, but let's just see what happens first. So we'll come to the dashboard, and then I want my sales quantity to be inside here, right? Sales quantity by, let's call this states. So we can say states and SKU. Make the whole of this bold, any need. Okay. All borders. Now, here's what I'm going to do here. You guys should pay attention. In this state, I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 9 slots here. Now, watch what I'm doing. I want this, everything on this row to be the same height, right? That's why this guy and this guy and this guy are all the same height. If I want to extend what I have here, then I can do it, but let's just see what data comes up with. So inside this state now, I'll click on the states, the first row, and press equal to, right? And then I'll go to my calculations tab and come and click Katsina, first state with the highest. So you can see these dotted borders that is blinking. It's showing me that, okay, it has recognized Katsina as what it wants to put there. I press enter, and now I have my Katsina, right? Now for my SKU, I'll do the same thing. I'll say it's equal to, come back to calculations, and I'll click the corresponding value for Katsina, right? And press OK. Now, there's something you need to pay attention to in this part. This is where it gets interesting. If you click on this guy, you can see this long formula, right? Essentially, it's just telling me to get the data from the calculations tab, right? And where state is equal to Katsina, right? Now, state is equal to Katsina, right, is a fixed value. We don't want this part in particular, this particular section value to be fixed. Okay, for example, let me explain what I want to do. See this Katsina, if you come down here, hold this guy, drag it down to the end, it just populates, right, from Katsina, Anambra, Lagos, Ekiti, down to Bayelsa, which is what we have here. All of that down to Bayelsa, right? Now, watch what happens when I drag the values. Instead of the values to be showing me the corresponding values for all these other guys, it will just show me only one figure. And the reason for that is that if you check the formula, it is looking for the values of Katsina alone. So we don't want that. We want it to look for the value of Anambra, Lagos, Ekiti as things go on. So we'll come and select this first one, remove this Katsina, press delete, and come and select this cell. So instead of it to be looking for a fixed value, it's looking for whatever is in P5. So as we drag it down, right, it will now continue to give us the values for everybody else. So you can see, let's say Accra is 845. Accra is 845. So my figures here are correct, right? My figures here are correct. Now, let me do something. The last thing we have here is Bayelsa, right? So we have, after Bayelsa, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 more items. So let's go and try and see what we can do to extend these guys to 5. Now it has gotten to grand total. Now let me extend by 5. So if I'm going to do this, it means that this, my figures, is going to have to probably be longer than this. Or Daffy, you said your screen is blank. Is anybody else also having blank screen? Okay, Daffy, check your connection. Something is wrong. All right, so let's move on. So there are two ways. I don't know how we are going to, okay, let's just leave this, let's just leave out all these figures, right? Let's leave out all these extra stuff we're doing. So let's frame this guy, and we're about to do something very interesting. So please pay attention. It's about to get really interesting. Now, many of you would have seen reports from NCDC, right? Reports where they Center for Disease Control, where they would show things. Let me share something like what I'm talking about. Things like this, where they will say number of cases, Lagos, Kano, FCT, and all that. They will show these very beautiful charts, right? Now, this chart was actually done in Excel. And I'm about to show you how to do something similar to that. Now, let's go back to our Excel. Now, how they did that effect is very simple. They just simply came here. You see where you have all these figures? We'll select all of these figures from beginning to the end. I would now select conditional formatting, come to data bars, and pick any of the colors that I want. You can see as you select a data, as you select any of the data bars, any of the colors, you would now see it's kind of like plotting a graph, a line graph inside that cell, right? So it's calculating it as a percentage of something close to the highest, right? Can you guys see it? Oh, well, of course. Let me see. Where is the chart? Oh, okay, fine. All right, good. All right, good, fine. So my next report, I want my next report to be like this, right? Just add a little bit of, you know, should I say funkiness? In fact, let's go and change color. No, leave it. We'll come back to it. So we have these figures being calculated as a kind of like a percentage. You get it? And this data, you know, the space, right? So of course, the figures here, like Bielsa 210, it will be compared to what you have as the highest, right? With the highest figure. Now, remember how we got it? We selected the entire data set, came to conditional formatting, went to data bars, right? And then chose any one at random, right? The colors at random, right? Now we can come and manage the rules, click on manage rules here, and then we can do anything we want. Change the color to dark red, you know, and change the color to dark red and whatever. And when we apply it, oh, sorry. Manage rules, and we can actually come and change the color to whatever we want, right? We can even change it to a purple, a very dark purple. You get? Okay. So we change it to dark purple and we apply it, and we have our figures like that, right? Any issues? No issues, right? All right. So now let's quickly run through the rest of what we want to add here. Let's quickly run through where the rest of what we want to add here. Then we would, so that we can do our best to meet up with our time. Now, the next thing I want to, let's go and get a report that says sales by category. This time around, we'll plot a pie chart. Right? Now, again, source data, insert pivot table, select the destination, click on that, click on calculations, let's put it here, or let's put it here, and then we are good. Now, what we need now in this next report is category. We need the category, and then we now need the revenue, right? So we want to see which of the category is giving us in our organization. Once again, we'll do some styling here. Comma, reduce that. Then this time around, we would go to options, pivot chart, and we'll go and plot a donut chart. Successful donuts. And click on OK. Right. Now, someone asked about percentage. You know, the figures here is kind of like a percentage, right? It's because it's a percentage of the whole, right? Okay, so now we have, this is sales by category. Again, let us reduce this, remove the book, bring this down here. Okay, so let us copy this, minimize, we are done with. Come to the dashboard, paste it there, and to fit our small, once again, you hold down Alt. Okay. Okay, so let's make this a little bit bigger. Bring this lower, just a tad. Aha, nice, very nice. So now we have sales by category, right? And we've successfully placed it, aligned it with this first report, these top 5 customers, and this. So let's quickly, very quickly go and do sales by product category. Okay, Magnanimous, thank you very much. Sales by product category. Okay, thank you for that correction. And finally, what other reports are we going to get? Let's generate sales by region. Okay, so here's one thing I want to also add here. Okay, let's do sales by region first. Very quickly, again, insert pivot table. Destination is, new sheet. Destination is calculation. Let's put sales by region here. Then quickly, we have region versus revenue. So we don't even need to style so much. Okay, let's just jump into the pivot chart straight directly. Let's use this. Let's use that. So sales by region, get rid of the total, do the ascending order and descending order, more sort options, sum of revenue. Aha, so we have the descending order. Okay, let's reverse it. Let's use the other way. Sort options, ascending order, sum of revenue. right? So the smallest, and then it gets to the biggest. Then what else? Let's do something else. Let's add labels, right? Now, here's what I want to do. Okay, that means we're going to have to style this up a little bit. Now, if I add data labels, then I can afford to delete this part, right? That axis, the vertical axis, I can afford to delete it. That's the y-axis. Then let me come and delete this, my grid lines. So it just shows me the trend directly. It just shows me the bars and says the sales by region, and it shows me what's going on. So once again, let's come and format data series and change this so that it be fatter, much fatter. Then sales by region. Hope I got the spelling of region correctly. So once again, this minimize this, we are done with. Sit somewhere there, come to the dashboard, paste it here, do the normal thing, use Alt to lock it down, extend and extend a little bit. Okay, looks like it's in the center. And let's bring this down. Oh, shit. Let's bring this down. In fact, let's just lock it to this. So we can lock this to that as well. Okay. Right? So now we have sales by region. Right? So two things. We can extend this sales by region here. Let me extend this to the very end. So voila. Now we have a simple, very simple dashboard. So we're actually on injury time. This is the time we should have been taking questions, but it's kind of important. I want us to get to the end of this before we now, right? Please, can we, Toby, you said, okay, Toby, we'll take your question very soon. You said, we'll take your question very soon. All right. Now, have a rough estimate of what we want to present on a regular basis in our sales, in our, let's say, weekly meetings. Yeah, okay. So the only thing left now is for us to just do a little bit of styling, add a little theme, color, and all of that. So there's one easy way to do it, right? Let me see. We can pick a theme, right? Okay, let's make it orange because we're initially trying to work with orange drugs. So let's make all our charts orange. First one is orange, second one is orange. No, there'll be too many oranges. Okay, let's just mix it, orange and purple. Here would have an orange theme. Here we'll have a purple theme. No, let's reverse it. Purple theme here, orange graph. Then here we can now make this what? Orange, right? Conditional formatting, manage rules, change this color to orange. And there we are. Looking nice, right? Now, bit of styling, just a little decoration here and there. We can come here and remove the grid lines. So all those lines you have in Excel is now removed from here. Then we can come here and merge all of this. Merge all of it and then write, would merge, let's take a much larger area. Merge and center and now write orange drugs. I don't know, what are we going to do? Should we call it a monthly report? Monthly reports. Okay, let's make this, push this in the center. Make this a little bit big. We can make the full cell to be orange and make the text to be white. Aha, there we are. Then finally, I want to, let me see, I want page break preview so that I can define my print area. And I want my print area to be from here to there. I can reduce this and reduce this. Okay, nice. Oh. Okay, let's go and do page layout. Let's change the orientation to landscape, right? Then we can now use the whole of here as our prints. Okay, so our report is done, right? I would have added a lot more to this report, but our time is fast spent. So let's just leave our report like this. Oh, there's one thing I would have liked to add. Let me see if I can still do it. I want to put a figure here, a number here. Let me do another table now. Insert another pivot table, right? Into the same place as usual, the same calculations. Let's put it here. Now, what do I want? I want to get, oh. This time around, I want, let's take customer name and let's take revenue. But instead of revenue, I want to change my field setting to counts. Oh, no. Let me not use customer name. Let me use serial number. Oh, no. Let me remove field and just have that. Okay. Counts. Good. All right. I don't know if anybody is used. Don't worry, Benjamin, I'll send you a data set that you practice with. But the objective was actually for you to practice with data generated from your organization, but no problem, it's fine. I'll send you a data set real quick. So now here's what I actually did on this table is that I just only took one parameter, right? I just only took one, let me do it all over again. So I just took one parameter, maybe customer name, dumped it inside this field called values, and then just change, before we usually had sum of, and then average and all that. So I'll send you the data sets, don't worry. So instead of this sum, I just simply changed the sum to counts. So what it did is that it's just tell me of customer names that is in my data sets, right? So it just makes things easy. What I wanted to do is that I wanted to get these data sets. So what I want to do is I want to come to this dashboard. Now, just pay attention. I will come to text box, open up a text box inside here, right? Now, I'll come to this place where you have the menu bar and click is equal to, then come to these calculations and select this, my figure, my number. Okay, okay. Okay, let me bring that number here first, right? It's equal to calculations that. Now I have my 118 here, right? let me do the same thing. It's equal to pull what is there and then hide this one, make it white, right? Wade, you came back, but you're looking very confused. Don't worry, the video is available. Yeah, I'll send you a link immediately. So what I just did here now is that the first thing I did was that I brought this total figure here to a cell inside here. Now I now from here, from this my text box, picked the value of that cell, that 118 from this cell. Where is the cell now? It has vanished. Hey, look at it. I just simply picked the value from here and then dumped it there. So what I'm trying to do is that I want to put this in the center. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Put it in the center, put it in the center again. 118. Let me go and bring another text box. Put it here and call this one transactions. Okay, so make the transaction slightly smaller. Make sure it's in the center of everything. Then I would make sure I do not have an outline, no outline, and I don't have a fill. The same thing text box, no outline and no fill. Then I can now just quietly bring it closer to the center. And transactions, I'll bring it closer to the center. All right. I think this guy can come here a bit. Okay, good. So now we now have our completed dashboard, our completed table. Now, if you have more details, more reports you want to add to your dashboard, depending on the needs of your organization, you can add them and position them properly, right? Now, in more recent versions of Excel, you would use things called a slicer. Now, the slicer would help you to select, maybe you can select the reports for Q1 of 2020, Q2 of 2020, you just click on it, but because this is 2007, Excel 2007, it's a little limiting on how you can filter some of the data. Maybe we might do another training for, and then we'll do the same thing using Microsoft Excel 2010 or 2013 or the more recent versions. Maybe we might do that. It depends on your feedback. So in the meantime, what we have now is we now have everything all set up, our data. Now, watch what happens. If I come back to my data source, this is where the fun is. If I come to my data source, let's just take a bunch of random data. Copy. Remember, we have 118 here, right? Let's paste some other extra figures. Want to get something as random as possible. Now, we have 126 entries, right? And everything here has changed, right? Now, here's what happens. On our dashboard, right? Let's assume your company uses an application, a software, Tally or Salesforce automation or anything, whatever you use in your organization to record sales entry. Now, when you finish making that, recording all of that, now you guys should pay very close attention to what's going to happen. I'll just pick any of my charts, right? Anyone at all. Come to analyze and go to refresh, and I'll click on refresh. As I click on refresh, it will refresh all of my data sets from the products, sales by category. So it will just refresh everything. Now let's watch the voila. So this has changed, this has changed, this has changed, this has changed. Everything here has more or less changed. You get? Now, let's go and look for a not central transaction again. A transaction that is not central, and let's make this 500. Let's give him some extra boost. If we come back here again, now watch, obviously, the figures from not central is going to change drastically, right? You can see the not central is 1860073, right? Now watch what happens. If we go to analyze and we go to refresh and we click on refresh, oh, it didn't change noticeably. I hope we got the wrong, I hope we did the right thing. Where is not central? Not central, oh, 9. Let's go and sell 500 of Sudrex. Sudrex is an OTC, right? Selling 500 will make it what, 63,000. Oh, we didn't do this arithmetic. So that we didn't do this arithmetic. That's why it's equal to that multiplied by that, right? So we have 3 million, and then this figure again, it's equal to this multiplied by that, and we have 1.9 million. So that's an extra 45 million. Now let's go back and do analyze, refresh, and refresh all, and you can see North Central has jumped everybody and has come, to the third highest selling products, right? Sales by category has also improved. Every other thing has changed, right? So if one of the very beautiful things about this dashboard, once you prepare a format ready for you that is okay by your organization can easily find all the reports it needs to make an executive decision, right? As things go on, right, and you now have new data, fresh data, all you have to do is just come to this source data and append the new data. When you append the new data and you jump to dashboard and you click on select any of the charts, go to analyze, click refresh and click refresh, everything in the entire report would refresh. So it saves you a lot of, instead of spending around 2 weeks trying to calculate invoices manually one by one, it reduces that 2 weeks work to 10 seconds work. So at this point, let us pause to ask questions because I am thirsty and I'm sure you guys are itching to ask questions. So, who wants to go first? Let's bring someone up. Musa, are you close by? Musa, I'm unmuting your mic. Musa, you have the floor. Okay, Oyeyemi has questions. I don't know if Musa is online, but let's listen to Oyeyemi. Oyeyemi, you have the floor. Go ahead.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you so much for this training, sir. God
Welcome,
bless
sir.
you. Although the network was slow, but at least I grabbed so many things. And the question I want to ask is about that sorting of
The what?
there is a way of data on sorting of data. No, on Excel, you can actually sort data by there is an icon for data. So if you click on data, you see how to sort from A to Z. Is it the same way? If you sort that way, will it affect the what you did, or it must be the way you did it, sir?
Okay. You can hear me, right? Oh yeah, you can hear me,
yes,
right?
Very well.
Okay, fine.
Very well.
Now, the thing is this: what you are describing is, let me just show you. What you are describing is just something similar to this, right? Either you can click on, okay, you are actually looking at these options, right? Where you can sort data A to Z, Z to A, and all that, right? Are you still there? You hear me?
Yeah, I'm with you, sir. No. If you go to the home after they played the layout formula data,
Yes.
Yes, if you click on that, yes, that's
Yes,
what
you now
I
see.
actually
Okay, good.
use when anytime I want to
All
sort
right. So
data.
now, right?
So I don't know.
So here's what we are doing. Here's what we are doing. First of all, we have this data set, right?
Okay. Okay.
We now exported this to
Okay.
to a pivot tables here, right? Now this will still work, right? But
Okay.
if you
Okay.
use this guy, if you use this
Okay.
guy,
Okay.
you use this guy, we are it's more like a shortcut to, before we even got to this stage, we were already sorting data
Yeah.
by these names, for example.
Yes.
But
Yes.
we don't want to sort by those names. We wanted to sort by this sum of revenue.
How did you catch us?
Okay.
Yes? So that was why
Okay.
we had to now go and change the sort parameters. Okay, I wish I can even just do an example here. This might mess things up. Okay, let me clear. Good. Now, if we use this, right? Here's what you have.
Okay.
Smallest to largest,
Yeah.
right? Largest to
Yes.
smallest, right? Now, if you
Yes.
select it like that, okay. Wait, let me see. Smallest to largest. Okay, fine. But what we had initially, we're sorting this guy, right? This will still work,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
This will still work. But the plan is that
Okay. Okay.
we wanted to do all this multi-sorting, and we wanted to specify exactly what we were sorting. Here you get,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Now, this
Yes.
option is
Yes.
usually used when you just have plain data on your Excel sheets, right? But we specifically
Yes.
wanted to
Okay.
sort by these other parameters and not just names. You get? Remember, what we are doing
Okay.
is
Okay.
slightly different, just slightly different from normal, just writing out all your tables and writing out figures like that, right? We need to make sure whatever we
Yes.
are
Yes.
doing
Yeah.
is inside the pivot table. Because if we do something outside the pivot table
Okay.
on your own,
Okay.
does that work for you?
And last, yes, very well. Lastly, the sales by city. I actually missed out on that, but I'm sure if I get the video, I will pick up. If I
Okay.
get the
All
video.
right. All right. Cool.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah.
No
Yeah.
problem. Very good. Now, do we have other questions? Does anybody else want to ask a question? Oh, yeah, me. Amaka was telling you to turn off the volume of your TV. I think your children were also being very active in the background. Okay, so other questions? Do we have questions from YouTube stream? Will the pivot table change as we refresh the alteration? Yes, exactly. That was the plan. Adeyemo, Adeyinka. The moment once you add any other information, and once you append any other information from under here, right? As you come back to the dashboard, just select any of the charts, go to analyze and refresh. As you refresh, it just changes everything. It will refresh. I think you should have a refresh all. It has refresh all, status, and leave all those ones. If this refresh all is active, this is what we are interested in, right? So once you click on refresh all, it just refreshes everything from the very beginning to the very end. You get? Okay, there was a big 30 in the sample. Who said that there was a big 30 in the sample dashboard showed at the beginning? Yusuf, there was a big 30 in the sample dashboard showed at the beginning. Oh, yes. Now, in the initial sample dashboard showed at the beginning, right? It's similar to what we did here. In fact, let me just open it again so that you would see, you will compare. Just hang on 1 second. Oh no, I don't think it's this file. Okay, good. Stop share. So Yusuf, this was what you were looking at, right? Now, we did not end up doing everything here from start to finish. This 30 was the same 30 transactions this year. Remember this 30, we now brought it inside this place, right? we brought that 30 inside this place and now put 30 here and then transactions this here. We omitted this list performing states, you get, because the same design that we did here is the same is the same as what we have here. We also omitted this sales amount by sales rep because frankly our time was fast spent. So yeah, that's the difference. All right, so other questions. Do we have other questions? Wow, I'm struggling to keep up with you guys. Link to the video, I will send it now. I will send you the link to the video, don't worry. Can we attach the percentages to the figures in the pie chart? Sure, of course. Hold on. The figures in the pie chart, sure. You can attach anything you want here, right? You can do add data labels, I guess. Okay, data labels gives you figures. So we can just go back to the source, to the initial table calculations. Where is it? Here, right? We can change this to percentages. Let me see if we can easily do that. We can change this to percentages and add it, or we can create another column here beside it and then percentage of that. All right, does that answer your question? Okay, see, this is your percentages, percentage of total, right? So it now shows percentage of total. So let's reduce this, then come back to our dashboard. Aha, voila. Now you have your percentages already. I think you should be able to move this around. Right? Does that answer your question for the percentage? Okay, converting to PDF, Francis Ndubisi. Converting to PDF is simple, right? So first of all, you need to have some kind of a PDF converter installed, right? So here's what I do. Right on this system, I have a PDF converter installed. I think it's I can't remember what it's called. So I'll just select my page, do Control P, click on selection. Now you can see it. I have Microsoft Print to PDF, right? So I'll select Microsoft Print to PDF. You need to download a Windows file and install it. Now, if you preview, you can see your file. Now, let me see whether I can make some changes. Fit one-to-one, put it in the center, right? Let's increase this a little bit. Let's make this 80%. Aha. Nice. Oh, no. Let's go back to fit one-to-one. So let's center it horizontally and vertically, right? Now, before we do this, let me go and give this a border. Aha. So when I preview it, you can see the border, right? Good. So I would print, put it on my desktop, call it reports, save. So when I now minimize, if I now go back to my desktop, I will now see the reports. The file is now showing as a report. Let me show you what the file now looks like. Okay, voila. Are we there? You can see the file, right? All right, so I'm afraid that's all we can take for now. that's all we can take for now. Our time is fast spent. We have exhausted our 2 hours on the dot, so we have to close this class here. Now, I'd like to thank you guys for attending, taking time out of your very busy schedule to attend this training. And as time goes on, we are going to bring up as many more trainings as would help you to be as productive as possible. So in the meantime, you can if you would like to support this initiative, I'll send you guys a link. So I'll send you guys 2 things. First is a homework for a practice data set, right? Just something to use and practice, right? Now, when you use that to practice, you can email me back the response, what you have. Now, if your organization uses data, you want to use data from your organization, you can export, first of all, to Excel, right? Then you can model, change the figures and make sure they are dummy data because it's not ethical for you to share. Then once you do that, you can now use what you have to now generate a report. You can now use it to generate a dashboard report, several reports, and then you can now send it to me, share it with me, and then I'll look at it. And if there are some tweaks and changes or suggestions and all that, you can send me suggestions, questions, and all of that. So this is where we come to an end. The close. This is where we have to draw the curtains for now. If you would like to support this initiative, I'll send you a mail now with a link where you can support the initiative so that we would continue to keep this program, these trainings as free as possible. You get? It's not too, well, I'll send you the link and it's kind of self-explanatory. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach me on hello@hotelmoney.ng. Just reply, the mail you're about to get, just reply it and that would be nice. So until next time, when oh, by the way, if you also want other trainings, you can also suggest in the email that you would send to me. Someone suggested BI, business intelligence and all that. But it depends. It all depends on what you guys vote for, right? So we'll continue to work hard to try and make you as productive as possible in your current endeavor. So until then, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for attending. I wish you a good night's sleep. I hope you guys have eaten. Wish you a good night's sleep. And until then, next time, good night.